brothers are tonight in Bend on
I saw those guys
on a Tuesday.
76 in San Jose. Are they still alive?
How do you
remember
remember
They probably
that?
got an original member or two. Yeah, we'll see. I mean, Robert Cray's coming tonight. God, it's a big doings in Bend tonight.
Yeah, how much weed, how many joints are tonight there at the amphitheater in Bend, Oregon? Over.
God, I don't know, but we're supposed to confiscate all that stuff if we find it when they come through. Usually when I'm going through the bags, I'm looking for knives and guns, and if I see pot, I just kind of go, go ahead, be on your way.
First of all, when everyone's lighting up during the concert, no one says anything to stop, do they?
No.
Well, we're supposed to tell people you can have one more drag or puff or whatever. What do you call it on vapes now? The vape pen or whatever the hell?
I don't know. And then what? And then put it away?
And then put it out, yeah.
How many times have you said that to someone?
0.
The Cancel Life people are across the street from Spokane 1, the stadium. When Willie Nelson played, they said they had a bunch of guys go out on the deck and got a contact high because the pot was so awesome. It was almost like a blue cloud wafting across the street.
Yeah. Do you find yourself getting contact highs at these concerts, Jim?
No, not generally speaking. I just wait until I get home to do that, Puck. Yeah.
Oh, you're still smoking pot, huh?
No, I get those edibles and I have them before I go to bed at night. It seems to help me sleep a little bit. What about you, Paul? Paul, you into that? You having edibles at all?
Oh, I may start, but I end up humping the pillow, and that's probably not a good sign. So
that would be great. Wouldn't it be a great image to see Paul just humping the pillow? There you go. It's the hey, I've renamed it. We did the old. We call it the Old Crimson Podcast. But then I thought there is already. I don't want to get like a cease and desist because there's Old Crimson, right?
No,
we have Old Crimson.
I know the guy. He's cool. He loves it. He thinks it's great.
But I thought it better. We just called it Old Crimson Podcast because you two are old.
That's fair.
Why don't you get back on the road? I heard your puck drop today.
I would do anything to get on I would do anything to get back on the road and be gone.
Would you? 1,700 miles in 10 days?
So much fun.
Family?
So much fun.
There would have been Sorensen bodies laying from there to Kalispell. Are you kidding me?
Oh, Kalispell, beautiful. Whitefish. Whitefish was beautiful, but you can tell that it's just been overrun with the Californians.
Yeah. We used to do a bike race around Whitefish, around that lake. It's 218 miles, and you start in Missoula. It was a 2-day trip. It almost killed me. I thought I was going to die. But I had a girlfriend that was in better shape than I was, and she, made fun of me, and that pissed me off, and I kept going. But that was hardcore, man. That was. Whew.
What almost killed me was that heat at Martin Stadium on Saturday. That was so hot. That was the hottest game I have ever been to. It's the Old Man Crimson Podcast. It's brought to you by the Cougar Collective, your home base for all NIL opportunities, connecting student athletes, fans, and business owners. Join today, hashtag Mighty by Many, in supporting student athletes on and off the field. You can join the 1890 Club for as little as $18.90, the most accessible route to supporting Cougar NIL growth. You can also make a one-time donation. The Old Crimson legendary lager you see behind me, right off of, is that my right shoulder? Right shoulder? Left shoulder, look right there for you. Brewed by Pike Brewing. Sales benefit the Cougar Collective. Visit cougarcollective.org. Also brought to you by Flat Stick Pub. Cougar owned and operated. Andy Largent, who Paul and I saw at the tailgate last Saturday against Portland State, and his lovely family. 6 amazing locations across the state. Kirkland, Pioneer Square, South Lake Union, Spokane, Bellingham, and Redmond. Great place for a ladies' night, guys' night, a large group event. Great for kids. Great place to watch the Cougs win. Visit flatstickpub.com. Paul, you were there. How hot was it?
My bun stuck to the seats. It was that hot. I mean, it smelled like bacon around us. It was brutal. We were lucky because we were on the press box side, and the big old structure kind of covered everything up. You, Puck, were slumming it over on the student side. I'm surprised your beard and mustache didn't melt.
It was so hot. I mean, I've been to a lot of games. Well, yes, we were talking, like, I don't remember the last time I've been over there for a 12 o'clock game.
Yeah.
I mean, it's been since college, I think.
Back in the day, ABC had the 12:30 window. That's when you'd have ABC, and then you had the the later window at 4, then you had the 7th. Those were the 3 windows, and that was it.
Hey, Jim, how did Chris King sound on the radio since you couldn't figure out how to watch the stupid game?
Yeah, well, you know what? Don't blame me for that. I tried everything under the sun to get the goddamn game, and it just after a while, I just thought, screw it. I'm going to go back to my old station that fired me and listen to the flagship broadcast of the game. And Chris King was fantastic.
Good.
Alex Brink was solid as usual. You know, Jessamine was kind of half-assed on the sideline, but
just didn't do much on the sideline for you.
No, she wasn't that good. But other than that, it was a great broadcast. A nice debut by Chris King.
Good.
Yeah.
Good. Okay.
I still haven't seen the game. All I heard was every time Chris King was talking, it seemed like we either scored or it was a 40-yard run or a 40-yard pass. Yeah.
Let me just jump in, because the picture that you put on social media of trying to find it on YouTube, that wasn't YouTube TV, though.
Okay, well, listen to me for a second. Fuck all of that shit, okay? Excuse my French, but I try. What? Okay, somebody says go find it on YouTube, and then you get to YouTube. There's YouTube Premium, and there's YouTube TV. Well, fuck you with that. Just give me one YouTube.
But it's YouTube TV.
YouTube. I don't want 3 fucking YouTubes. I just want the damn Cougar game. God.
Because the picture that you had,
I ended up signing up for YouTube Premium, and now I got one free month, and then you forget to unsubscribe.
Hey, Jim, get your ass in the car and drive from Bend to Pullman and join Puckett.
I'm going this week. This week.
Well, that's great. Everybody's going.
And then people will go, well, just go to Fubo or just do this. And then I go to Fubo and I go down through the whole damn guide looking CW. Where the hell is it? Nowhere to be found.
We're officially the old guy sitting on the porch yelling at the people walking by.
John, there's a whole CW channel search. Canzano, I think, made a good point this week. He just said that, listen, you got to decide before the game, maybe find out where it's at on your channel guide before the day of the game.
Oh, okay. Thank you, John. Thank you for
just
that.
Saying.
Okay,
just saying.
and then I thought, okay, I'll get the CW app. And then I can watch it on my computer if I can't get it on the TV.
I told you it wasn't
and then the damn CW app doesn't have the game. Oh, but wait. A day later, you can watch the game on the CW app. Well, screw that. I want to watch it live.
I told you the CW app was not streaming the games.
Well, what else did you tell me?
It's on YouTube TV, not YouTube.
I know, but you got to pay like $1,800 for that.
For YouTube TV?
And then people are saying, well, go out and just get an antenna and do it old school way. And I don't know how to hook up an antenna to my TV. Do you?
Yeah, it just plugs into the back.
It does? Is there something in the back that says antenna?
If you have a new TV, you can just go to Amazon and get those new antenna plugins. Wow.
Well, you know what? I'm sorry for anyone who's tuning into this looking for insight into the Texas Tech game. They probably don't want to hear me blathering about, my issues. I can't be the only one that couldn't get the game, though. I can't be.
I think you're the only one I know.
No way.
Only one. Paul and I were great.
22, and it was like, hey, look at that, the CW. How cool is that?
Who did they have? Who were the announcers?
It was Ted Robinson
and Ryan
Leaf, and I don't remember who the sideline slap was. But
I do want to go back and watch it because I guess Ryan Leaf in the beginning just went off on ESPN and detailed how he said he was fired by ESPN. He was fired by Pat McAfee and Kirk Herbstreit because he spoke out about ESPN and he spilled it on the pregame.
He had a battle with them on social media. And
that's what he was talking about. He said because he got in a verbal spat with him on social media about how ESPN treated the Pac-12 and they're handing it. He says that he claims, now I'm getting this secondhand because I haven't gone back and watched it, that he claims that on the pregame that Pat McAfee and Kirk Herbstreit had him fired.
Really? Just because he complained about ESPN's role with the Pac-12's demise?
Yeah. Because he didn't like how they handled it and how remember when McAfee was railing on the Cougs and you're telling us to shut up and all that kind of stuff.
Back to Herbstreit defending Corso when Corso came out and misspoke basically and said what he said that everybody took the wrong way and were pissed at him. So Herbstreit jumps in, tries to defend Corso. Leaf goes after Corso and Herbstreit. McAfee jumps in. I mean, it was just a cluster. It was like those three guys in a boat in Deliverance. Basically, what happened at the end is what happened to Ned Beatty.
Okay, that was graphic. I don't think our I don't know if our
I don't
listeners
think everyone's going to get that reference, but I got it.
That's
Paul.
good.
I mean, I got it. I did the little kid playing the banjo, and then all of a sudden Ned Beatty been bent over and squealing like a pig. All right, well, Jim, how did the game sound?
You're really enjoying that, aren't you?
I do.
I appreciate you taking to social media too to say how much you enjoyed my struggles. Like, what was the point of that? Like, I'm Team Puck. I'm Team Puck at all times.
I enjoy your struggles.
I'm on your side, and yet you come out with that.
I'm on your side.
Yeah, you're on my side. You enjoyed that.
I love you. You know I love you.
No, I'm still old school, though. I go back. I mean, that's the thing. Like, when people used to rip the Pac-12 network, I was always like, why are you ripping the Pac-12 network? They bring me the games against Portland State and McNeese State and all of that. And in the past, as Paul knows, and Jason, you probably know too, we'd have to listen to the radio broadcast because we'd get, 3 or 4 televised games a year. Yeah. So I really didn't – it kind of was a throwback day for me. I enjoyed just kind of listening to the game, and it was fine. After a while, after I got over my initial disappointment and anger, I settled in and enjoyed the broadcast. It was great.
How did you feel after it was a quick 3 and out, and then it was Portland State marches right down the field and scores?
Well, yeah, I was getting ready to. Well, I was happy that I couldn't see the game at that point, and then I was also thinking, God, I can't wait to rip Puckett for being such a John Napier fanboy.
I thought of
he was what, 1 for 6?
Yep.
Yeah. 1 for 6.
I thought of you immediately when he overthrew the guy on 3rd down the sideline. I'm like, this isn't good. He doesn't look good initially. But boy, Paul, Fear Napier, my guy, he responded.
After that, he was 10 of 11 with 5 touchdowns after his 1 for 6. Threw for, 300 and whatever yards. He had 407 yards of total offense, 6 total touchdowns. And what he did and hey, don't get me wrong. Now, I will say that Cam Ward had a pretty good game for Miami. So if you want to compare those two in terms of the different levels, that's fine, Puck, but we don't care anymore. But basically what Napier did that I really liked, he didn't get happy feet. He stayed in the pocket. When he saw things were breaking down, then he started to move. When they had plays for him on RPOs where he could run, he only had two rushes, but he had 55 yards in rushing. 1 picked up a first down, 1 on a design quarterback draw. Great job by both the center and the left and the right guard that blocked downfield, blew up a couple of Portland State guys. He ended up scoring. That's a weapon. And having him able to do that, teams are going to have to game plan against him, against the run, which means they're going to have to keep an extra guy in the box, which is going to open up some passing areas.
Jim, you've watched a lot of Cougar football, like about 50, 60, 70 years of it. We've had no quarterback that has been that mobile.
I'm sorry, I'm distracted. I told my wife I was doing a podcast for 45 minutes, but she seemed to think that it would be a good time to start hammering over there on the wall. I'm not sure why that is. I'm sure the vacuum will probably go on in the next 2 minutes, so that'll be going on too.
Hey, happy wife, happy life.
Yeah.
At least he hasn't drove her car into the garage and run over you. That's a good sign.
Yeah, that's true.
I have been watching Cougar football for 50 years there, wise ass. I go back even before Paul Sorensen showed up on campus. So I have been, you're correct about that. We did have a guy named Jason Gesser who I thought was fairly mobile. But
do you think he was okay, I agree he's mobile. But
Ricky Turner?
But not like this, though.
Ricky
Is he
Turner was a legit 4-4 guy. Okay, he could run. He was second fastest guy on the team, but he was the first.
That touchdown run, Jim, that he had, that draw, that's he had a different gear to him that I don't know. I don't remember Gesser kind of moving like that before.
He squats 600 pounds, Puck.
Paul, I'm asking Jim a question, not you.
I can't help you. You get your butt.
Wait your turn, you vapid goof. What the hell are you doing?
I did not know that he squatted 600 pounds.
I don't know if people know about the daily puck drop, but I hashtag that sucker and I listen to it every day. And you talked about it. You made a great comparison to Jake Locker. I just, the number 10 too. I mean, Natier's different. And it was kind of interesting. I saw the odds came out. They update the odds on the Heisman Trophy every week. Cam Ward is the favorite right now at 7-1. But as a Cougar fan, would you trade John Napier for Cam Ward right now, straight up? I don't think so. Not after that game that he had. Not after the yards per completion that he had on that. I mean, I know a lot of them were, run after the catch and all that, but still, sensational debut. And I'm so fired up about John Napier, and so I'm on board. I want, you're the president of the fan club, and I want to be like your vice president or something. I mean, I think that fan club is going to just be overflowing with Cougs by probably by the end of the Texas Tech game.
Yeah. Paul, what would you take away from his performance?
Thank you for pausing there, Paul. I was
done.
just
because I know Moore's going to babble about his dog crapping in the front yard or something. So I'm waiting for that riveting radio to come aboard here. Anyway, Napier is leading the nation. His passer rating is 335.7. He's number one. Okay, that's pretty damn good. And basically you look what he did. So he was 11 of 17 with 5 touchdowns. He rushed twice for 55 yards with another score, over 400 yards of total offense. But what he did is, even though I think he missed Williams on a ball down the sidelines, he came right back a couple plays later and hit him. Just beautiful throws. And he's got a little juice to him, Puck, in terms of his ability to drop back, get rid of the football. And here's the other thing. The thing that I noticed, Arbuckle stretched this field. They had vertically attacked these teams down both sidelines, down the middle. They had tight ends running down the middle. They had running backs coming out of the backfield. We haven't seen that since Erickson, from that perspective. So there were a couple of things that I saw offensively from Arbuckle that I really liked. He attacked those defenses.
Yeah, what do you call it? Is it a Texas route? Is that what Parker scored on a little bit when he leaked out in the middle?
Back basically releasing, and he's got an option route. He can either break to the side or he can go straight upfield. When he saw the linebackers bail and go to the underneath routes, he took it right up the middle. He had to actually wait for the ball. He was so open. The running back the linebacker tried to jam him, and he got around him. The guy whiffed on the jam. He was wide open. There was nobody there.
Jim, I know what you're saying about would you trade Napier for Ward and people that would come away from this past weekend and what Ward did to go into the swamp and put up the numbers that he did would be like, you guys are just idiots. You're a couple of homers who are mad that Ward left. Like, I mean, but you and I, but I was going to say, hold on. But you and I've been consistent with it. I don't hate Cam Ward. I never hated him. He was immensely frustrating for me to watch play. And I'll say this to all Miami fans. Like, they keep showing the one highlight touchdown he had where he was rolling to his left and he throws it back across the field in the back of the end zone. That touchdown, they kind of play it all the time. In about 4 weeks, that's going to be picked off. Okay? In probably 2 weeks. When he plays a better team, he will not get away with that. And I just think that the one thing that I noticed right away, and what was missing from this offense the last 2 years, and John Napier showed it immediately, the arm strength is way different. His ability to vertically push the ball downfield is way better than Cam Ward. Cam Ward, when he wants to let it loose downfield, 40, 50 yards, it's a wounded duck. At least it was at Washington State. Maybe he's done something here in the offseason at Miami, but I thought the arm strength, to me, was a noticeable difference from the last 2 years.
Let me say something about Cam Ward, Puck, if that's okay. He did come out and gave a shout-out to the Pac-12.
He did.
And I thought, you know what, he could have been better. He did it right. He graduated from WSU. He's a WSU grad. He's a grad transfer. He got his bag. Good for him. And I think this year at Miami is going to help him in the draft. He wasn't going to be one of the top quarterbacks drafted because this was a really good quarterback class that came out. But he gave a shout-out to the Pac-12 in terms of the stadium. He was talking about the swamp, and I've been in the swamp. I did a game there 2 years ago with Eastern. When they were scoring, it was loud, but it wasn't like it was when he played in the Pac-12. A tip of the hat to him because he didn't have to do that, and he did.
Yeah. No, but you're right, Puck. I mean, there will be, if you're a fan of Miami, there's going to be a game probably this week. I don't know who they're playing, but where he either loses the ball, intentional grounding, he gets sacked 20 yards behind the line of scrimmage. I mean, it just usually when guys were scrambling, some good things would come out of it, and occasionally they would with Ward. But also, you were like, "Oh no, this isn't going to work out." The playground stuff wasn't wasn't best suited for him. And so, yeah, I don't know. If you took Cam Ward at 7-1 to win the Heisman, I think you're throwing money away.
Well, and what's going to happen is that, and we're turning this into Cam Ward here real quick. And again, I don't wish any ill will towards him. There was just times he was just a maddening player to watch for me.
Paul, did Miami give him a nicer truck than we gave him or something?
Yeah, what did he get, Paul?
He bought the truck we gave him from Ron Clodden. He drove it to Miami so he could haul the $2 million back and put it in his bank.
No, he bought the truck?
Yep.
Do you think he got $2 million?
That's what I heard.
Did?
Yep.
Well, Jesus, what's Napier gonna? Napier after his season? Huh?
Keep it quiet. We can't afford $2 million. Okay.
No, I know. I'm banking on our culture, Paul.
That's the problem with
culture.
College football. Is these idiots
it's a family atmosphere. That's what Napier wants.
It's bringing family culture, Paul.
You say the wrong guy, you're up shit creek, pal.
Well, I'll tell you who's going to keep it. Every time he touches the ball, that Wayshawn Parker, number 21, that price tag is going up, up, up. By the way, it's a good time to remind you, join the 1890 Club for just $18.90 a month. The best way to contribute to Cougar athletes. And I would just start funneling money towards number 21 as fast as we can. Let me just quickly just wrap up Ward. He's going to garner more hype because they don't play anyone they don't play anyone this year. Florida A&M this week, then Ball State, then South Florida. I don't know how good Virginia Tech is, but they usually are pretty good. They get Virginia Tech. Hey, that's Enter Sandman, right, Jim?
He got beat by Villanova.
Okay, they got beat by Villanova?
No. Who's the team in Nashville?
Tennessee?
Vanderbilt. They just lost in overtime to Vanderbilt.
Okay, so they're terrible. Then they're at Cal. So he goes to Berkeley on October 5th. God, that's crazy. And then at Louisville on October 19th. So probably not until at Louisville, or I miss maybe Cal, that he actually gets tested.
Good. They'll test him a little bit. They're pretty good on defense.
Hey, you know what I'm fired up about? I know this is a Coug podcast, but I'm a Coug, and I think we should be fired up about this. The Billy Napier hot seat watch.
Oh,
it's already red hot. I'm so fired up about this.
And
I want Florida losses as much as Husky losses.
Guess who the number one guy is that they're going to go after? Take a guess.
Well, we know that's what he's saying.
Sanders.
No, he's talking Jed Fish.
Oh.
That's what he's getting at, not Dylan.
Yes.
He's getting at Jed Fish.
I kind of want the Huskies to be halfway decent this year, so still, Florida will still want him.
I can't wait
because Paul, come on, we want turmoil on Montlake. That's what we always want.
I can't wait till I tape the Puck the Huskies podcast. And the first thing I'm going to say to Jordan Ruffin is, because he gets Jordan all worked up, and I'll be like, God, that Fish to Florida stuff, it's heating up. He's not going to leave. He never would do it.
You see what Napier said today or yesterday in his press conference?
All their fans. Yeah,
he's ripping the guy in the basement. You can't listen to the guy in the basement making remarks on social media. Yeah,
might as well fire him now. It's over for Billy Napier. And you're right. If Jed Fish if they continue to play well, his name will surface. Whether he goes or not is because there's a connection there. He went to school there and of course learned under who am I missing? Why am I blanking on the Florida coach?
Steve Spurrier.
Steve Spurrier. Thank you.
The old ball coach.
Ball coach. Paul, what did you take away? We've talked a lot about Wayshawn Parker. I saw him in that scrimmage, and then this was the first game action we saw him. It's different, man. It's real different to watch Wayshawn Parker play. And again, $18.90 to the 1890 Club.
Hey, why is Paul chewing gum? Did you notice that?
Of course I've noticed it.
How long have you been a broadcaster?
I don't know.
What are you doing?
You usually have a chaw in your mouth or a sandwich, or just roll
side of the street.
What do you like? What kind of gum was it anyway?
You are a freaking grumpy old fart now, aren't you?
No, but you're sitting there chewing gum. No one does that as a broadcaster. You think Chris King goes, I'm gonna have some double mint before I say go Cougs? No.
I want to have fresh breath, so when I chat at you and spit on the screen, it comes out minty fresh. That's what we're working on.
Yeah, I made you spit it out, though. That was go ahead. Wayshawn Parker, go ahead.
You mind if I talk about the running back? Is that okay with you?
Yeah, without your gum, go ahead.
Well, anyway, the PFF or BFD or whatever that ranking is that comes out and lists the different positions has him at number 5, and they have Politasi at number 7, and so he ranked with an 83.1, which is actually pretty good. And here's the other thing. The Cougar offensive line had a really good – they came out, the offensive line grading on run blocking was an 85.4. That's the highest level since when Minshew was there back in 2018. You just not have – and let's give the offensive line a lot of credit. Now, it was Portland State, but Portland State can do some stuff on defense that really messes you up, because they'll bring a lot of – they'll overwhelm you at the point of attack. But I thought the offensive line did really well, and that's without their best tackle playing right now. And Hildebrand, I thought he had an outstanding game. The center was outstanding, and I thought they did some great things. So running backs go as offensive line gives them opportunities. But Parker broke tackles. Parker showed showed that he had a burst. He showed he had hands. He made guys were coming after him. He was shedding blocks. It was impressive. We're going to need a lot of 1899 club members because there's going to be a lot of people throwing a lot of green at that dude next year. I'm guaranteeing it.
Does everyone know $18.90 for the 1890 club?
We only
Cougar
need
Collective.
10,000 members, and we have a chance to save Mr. Parker.
Hey, I like that you have notes there, Paul. I can see you looking down at your notes. That's impressive.
Well, and that's unlike.
How about my beer, Jim?
I've got them too. You want to hear the most important note about this game?
Oh, sure. Other than
I know what it already is. Why did the point spread change?
No, I've already bet on the Cougs, so I got $70. We were favored by 1 on the opening line, favored by 1, and then we were 2.5 point under or 1.5 point underdogs, and now we're favored by 2.5 again. And you know why?
Wow.
You know why? I'll tell you why. Because this is the point I want to make on the old Crimson podcast. Taj Brooks, who I've never heard of until yesterday.
Oh, yeah, he's out.
Terrific running back. He's got an arm injury. He's listed as questionable. He ran for 157 yards against Abilene Christian. See, I can do this without looking down at my notes, Paul. I don't know. You take some notes and maybe learn from me a little bit. And he might not play. And that's a big deal because our run defense was a little leaky, wasn't it, against Portland State?
All right, asshole. Here's the deal, okay? I watched the entire Texas Tech game over, so I know exactly what was going on. Their quarterback was an old Texas Tech transfer. He had a 6'7" tight end that transferred from Texas Tech. They had a wide receiver that was their best guy that transferred from Tech. They had 3 dudes that played for the Red Raiders when they went in there, and Abilene Christian is farther down the list than Eastern Washington. So, from that perspective, I didn't look at any notes either. I just watched the film, and the film doesn't lie. So,
what do you make of that? I mean,
thing that was riveting. We appreciate that, and I hope your $70 is worth it. Man.
Well, Paul, let me just seriously for a change. What do you make of that game? Because you look at it, and I know that we played both schools played inferior opponents, but you look at that, do you just throw that one aside as far as Texas Tech goes, or not?
If I'm Texas Tech, I'm concerned. And you brought up a great point. Running back is out potentially. He's questionable. Their middle linebacker blew his knee in the preseason camp. He's done. The backup linebacker is also questionable. The outside backer is questionable. Their starting safety is questionable. And they had issues they did not cover. That quarterback threw for 500 yards against the Tech defense. Mm-hmm. So, this was a guy that wasn't even good enough to stay at Tech. Now, there's a lot of players, in the portal. 45% of the starting players at the FBS level are transfers now. Think about that. 1 out of every 2 are now going from one school to another, and they're starting for that school. So that kid could spin it. And they had, over 600 yards against this Tech defense, in Lubbock. So, Jim, to answer your question, if I'm Texas Tech right now, I'm worried because they're facing an offense that's going to be pretty damn good and pretty tough to stop. And if an FCS school can do that with all of their transfer guys, this might be a tough weekend for them.
Could be a shootout, though. But I go back to Jim's point, though, Paul. I mean, did you coming out of it, a Portland State team that was just, frankly, not that good, was able to put up 30 on that defense. Now, I know the score came late and all of that, but how concerned should we be that they put 30 points up against that defense?
They had 11 explosive plays, that, and probably half of those were against the starting defense, so that's worrisome. Mm-hmm. They also basically did some things in terms of 17 missed tackles, and I don't care if you're a first, second, or third, level defender, you better make a play. If you get a chance to put helmet on body, that guy better be on the ground. And when you miss 17 tackles, that's a no-no. I also thought there were some coverage issues, and there were a couple of throws where that guy threw the ball up in the air and it looked like a punt. And yet the DB did a great job. He's in excellent position. He doesn't even look for the ball.
Yeah.
And the receiver went up, made the catch, made him look bad. So there's a couple of one-offs there that I'm not going to punish the defense on. Those are things that you're going to get better. Your best improvement, they say, is from first game to second game. I think you'll see. And they were also conservative on the outside where they wanted to keep Cesare, the quarterback from Portland State, kind of in the pocket. So they didn't really go after the QB. It was more of a soft rush. You're not going to see that this weekend. They're going to pin their ears back, come after that dude, and try to punish him.
Take the over, Jim.
Take the over at 65. I think the Cougs are a solid bet this week. I mean, there's some weeks where I don't bet on us, but this isn't one of them. I mean, I love our chances in this game, and I'm big into intangibles. I just love the fact. I mean, Dickert's going to have them fired up. I mean, this is a school from the Big 12 Conference, and you're trying to remain relevant. You're trying to make a statement. All those cliches come into play in this game, and I know that he's going to have them fired up just like he did against Wisconsin last year. So I mean, this is an opportunity not only for the Cougars to win the game, but for those of us who bet money on the Cougs, for us to, it's a windfall. Jesus Christ. I can't see us losing this game. I just can't see us losing this game.
Jesus, there's the kiss of death.
I know Vegas knows all, and if the point spread's right around Pick'em, then guaranteed it'll go down to the last 2 minutes. But it looks to me like we've got the better team here, and we're playing at home, and we got those intangibles just like I mentioned.
Well, let me ask you this, Paul. You answer first, and then Jim, you go. I think it's a must-win.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can't lose this game.
No, I agree. I think the next 3 weeks are their biggest games of the season. I mean, you've got Texas Tech, Washington, and then I think, is it Boise State?
No,
Boise State?
San Jose State, then Boise.
Is it?
Yeah,
okay,
San
but
Jose State after
whenever they play Boise State, though.
Let's just say the next 4 weeks are kind of their must-wins, from that perspective. Now, I don't mean that in a must-win sense, but you've got to play very well. So you've got to get at least a split between Texas Tech and Washington. If you win 2, that's unbelievable. If you lose 2, you're probably hosed. And then you've got to knock off the better teams. Boise State's been picked, to win the Mountain West, and all of those kind of fun things. So I think from a perspective in terms of your question, Puck, I think Saturday is a must-win for the Cougs.
Yeah, you feel the same way, Jim?
Oh yeah, I would agree. I mean, you got to beat Texas Tech, you got to beat Washington, and you got to beat Boise State. I mean, if everybody, I just don't understand it. The Big 12 and all these power conferences, kind of like not wanting us. But yeah, I mean, we need to not only win, but probably be convincing in our wins sometimes. And I just think we're catching Texas Tech at a good time. I think we're catching the Huskies at a good time. I know the game's in Seattle at Lumen Field, but they're in transition with the new coach and all the new players. They didn't look all that great against Weber State. They certainly looked beatable. Mm-hmm. And so, yeah, this is a game where I think we have a good shot at winning the Apple Cup. And then, this week, I don't know. I'm fired up about the whole thing. I think this is one of our most important seasons ever. I mean, it really is. I mean, I know that the schedule isn't that appealing, but if we can just take care of business every single week, and I think we might be ranked if we were to beat Texas Tech. Maybe not. It's probably going to take a win over Washington too. Yeah. But we just need to elevate that national presence a little bit, and I think the country's pulling for us, just like they're pulling for the Beavers too.
Question for you, Puck. I want to give you some compliments. I thought you made a great point, on your puck drop where you were talking about Weber State. If they had a quarterback that actually could throw the ball from the pier to the lake or the ocean, they might have had a chance to cause a lot more damage. They could run the ball against Washington, but that guy couldn't complete a pass and his life depended on it. Oh,
so, that's the worst quarterback, and I'm not exaggerating. That's the worst quarterback I have ever seen at the college level, ever. He was high school bad. He was terrible. That guy you're telling me Weber State didn't have another guy every time first of all, he couldn't get the snap off. I mean, how many flags they get for run the clock, and then every time he dropped back to pass, I'm like, he doesn't know where he's going to go. He's going to throw an interception. Yeah, I'm telling you, I agree with if they could have had any play action, they ran the same running play over and over again, and it got 6-7 yards every single time. I mean, Washington's got a problem up front. I think Washington State has a problem up front too. I just not in love with their defensive tackles. I think they got pushed around all day long by an FCS team. That's not good. But yeah, I mean, I think when they play in 2 weeks, Washington State's going to be able to run the football on them, and John Mateer is going to be able to play action. Is going to be able to throw over the top. It'll just come down, can their defense, get enough stops? And Jim, I agree with you. I think you're getting Washington at the right time. I would rather play them early than late, because I think he'll probably have them playing better like week 9 and 10, because all those new what do they have, like 50 guys that are new? They'll get more comfortable with each other. Whereas, for Wazoo, like, we didn't really lose anyone at all.
No, don't you think we're going to be extra motivated? I mean, I don't care if the kids are, from California or somewhere else and don't understand the importance of the Apple Cup, but they do understand the importance of beating a team that's from the Big Ten now. Sure. And if they can beat the Huskies after beating Texas Tech and being 3-0, then we're really starting to talk. I mean, I haven't ruled out the college football playoff for our team this year. I just have not ruled that out.
There we go.
12 teams, and we've got a shot. We're going to be better after Boise State. Aren't we going to be favored in the rest of our games?
Yeah.
I would. Now, let me ask you this, though. One thing that I noticed, Paul, you and I think we talked about, we're there Saturday. What's the excuse this last week? Because, I mean, the apathy was there. I mean, it was not a well-attended game.
It's Labor Day, and it was as you mentioned, 95 or 90, whatever the heck it was. and traditionally, the Labor Day weekend has been the absolute worst weekend for attendance at Washington State. Now, all excuses aside, you see what Wilner writes, and he talks about how pathetic it was, and there's a reason we're not going to be in the Power Five because nobody, supports the program. That guy can pound sand, from that perspective. He can just stick it because he's a Cal Stanford honk anyway. So from that side, good for him. I know he's probably your buddy, Jim, because you guys are in the written acumen. You can walk up to that little prick and punch him right in the throat for me. Or let me find him and I'll punch him in the damn throat. So from that side, we've got to do a better job as fans. We have to fill that stadium. We have to support Dickert and those kids. And if we don't do it, we're the ones that fall. Not the writer guy from San Jose making fun of us, but us. So now it's time to step up, and it's time to get your butts in the seat down there and quit making freaking excuses about going to the soccer game or the party or the freaking football game. Go. And if you can't go, that's great. Watch it on the CW. That's all we can do, or else we're going to get left behind.
God, hey, Puck, he's a lot better without the gum, isn't he? A lot better.
That's what I was going to say. I felt like I could understand him more.
No, but, okay, Paul, I understand that, we had 20,000 people there, and that was probably generous saying there were 20,000. Okay, wait a minute. Is this a season, though, where it's more important for us to watch the Cougar games on TV?
I just turned the game on and left. It's on the CW, even if I'm sitting in the stands. So you don't have to be there, Jim. The technology allows you to jump the car, drive east, turn left when you get to wall to wall, and have fun.
But I think to maybe to defend Wilner for a second, for a second.
That little prick, that guy.
The little prick. Is that what you called him? A little prick?
No, he's tiny.
Is he little? I don't know. I've never met him.
He's littler than I am, that's for sure. So there you go.
The perception is, though, of that fan base that they won't support. It's a lot of chatter of it, but when push comes to shove, people don't go over there. I think there are things that get in their way. It's not like, Oregon State had a great attended game.
They did.
Now, but again, it's 2 hours from Portland, where most of their fans live. You can drive there and go back. Washington State's 5 hours from Seattle, and they are charging $500 a night to stay there.
Are they?
Okay, yeah.
There's 1,500 tickets left for the Texas Tech game, by the way.
But there is one thing I'll be critical, at least of our fan base, is there always is an excuse. It's too hot. It's Labor Day. It's on Friday night. There is always I'm not going. I have season tickets. I'm not going to every game, but I'm not going to make an excuse for it. I just can't. I've got kids' activities. I've got kids' football and stuff like that. I'll try to give my tickets away and people can have them, but you do say you can have them if you want, Jim. Jim mentioned it, Paul, and you've talked about it. It's a critical year for how they perform on the field. But I would also say for the fans, it's critical for them to get out there and fill that stadium as much as they possibly can.
Yeah. I would agree. And I think, the other thing that makes it easy too, one of the things over the years, and Jim and I and you have been following this university for years, it's always been about the opponent, not necessarily about the team. They would rather go see a USC and a UCLA and a Washington than a Boise State, a San Jose State, or a Portland State. And so that's another one of the things that come into it. And I get it. It's the last weekend of the summer. Everybody's going to school starting today. It was hot. There were a lot of excuses. Guess what? We were there. And I did a game Thursday night, or if I had to do a game on Saturday, I'm not there. I can't go back until Wyoming because I'm working. But I'm going to make sure we figure out a way to support them. And just like you, I got my season tickets, and I make sure I put people in those seats so that, they can come and support Washington State. But, Jim, I think you are right on. This is the biggest year. We have to show that we have bought in, especially in football. In basketball, we didn't start putting butts in seats until Smith's team started winning, and that was, halfway through last season. And then guess what? They started selling out games in Beasley. So it's the same old, same old.
Yeah, I don't have any excuses this year. I'm retired, so I can go. I'm planning on going to more games, but no, I think it's more important though to get those TV numbers wherever they want them to be. I mean, that seems like it's more important than whoever's there at Martin Stadium watching the game. Oh, excuse me, Gisa Field. Jesus Christ. I understand that we need the money. I get that. But every single time on the broadcast, welcome back to Gisa Field. No, it's Martin Stadium, okay? All right? Am I wrong? Sorry about that.
It should be Gleason Field.
Gisa Field at Martin Stadium is actually what it is. That's the right verbiage. And by the way, Clarence B. Martin was what? A Husky grad?
Yeah, well, we could change that name.
Yes,
be nice.
You need to. That's important. Just FYI.
So we all agree, Texas Tech win?
Yeah, and if I'm just tuning into this for the first time, and, of course there's 3 Cougar homers who are going to say that the Cougs are going to win, but I think in the past we've shown that there are times when we play somebody where I don't think we're going to win, but this isn't one of those weeks.
Well, I think, Paul, if their running back is not going to be healthy and may not play, and he's their best player on their team, their defense gave up 50 to an FCS team. I can just see, I think the Cougs defense will give up yards and points, but I don't know. I can't see Texas Tech slowing them down offensively, not what they showed last week.
Well, and remember, Josh Kelly is that slot guy. He had a very nice game,
Great game.
Kick off the season. There's a kid named Atkins who's another receiver.
Oh.
There's a kid that's a Florida transfer. I think his name is Deshaun something. Anyway, those 3 guys look good. They look good. They could run routes. They were getting open, and their quarterback's a stud.
Yeah.
But if you take away a guy that just rushed for 150, and he was the man last year running the football, you become one-dimensional. That plays right into Washington State. Remember, Wisconsin was a one-dimensional football team. They could run, but they weren't necessarily known as a passing team. So if you take away the run and you can pin your ears back and make them have to throw, that's going to really be tough for Tech, and I think that plays into the Cougars' hands.
Okay. All right, we will reconvene next week for another edition of the Old Man Cougars podcast, brought to you by the Cougar Collective. You can join today, hashtag Mighty by Many, and supporting student-athletes on and off the field. You join the 1890 Club for as little as $18.90 a month, and do it for Wayshawn Parker, the most accessible route to supporting Cougar NIL growth. You can also make a one-time donation. You can also support and drink behind me the Old Crimson legendary lager brewed by Pike Brewing. Sales benefit the collective. Visit cougarcollective.org. I'll tease on this podcast. It's going to be released at the same time, but head on over pucksports.com, Apple, Spotify, YouTube, because our Cougs Corner guest this week, where we talk to either Jake Dickert or various coaches throughout the season and players, John Napier is on this week's episode of Cougs Corner. Also want to thank Andy Largent, Flat Stick Pub, Cougar owned and operated. They've got 6 amazing locations across Washington, Kirkland, Pioneer Square, South Lake Union, Spokane, Bellingham, and Redmond. Visit flatstickpub.com. Saw Andy and his beautiful family this week. It's great. Just a great Coug overall. So appreciate Andy's support and also the Cougar Collective. And I appreciate Paul's support. And, Jim, I appreciate your support. And the tickets are yours this weekend.
Okay. Thanks, Buck. I appreciate that. Right. Go Cougs.
Go Cougs.
All we got is all we need. Go Cougs.